Okay, we're live. So could you
Okay.
tell us your name?
Mark Brody.
Mark Brody. Okay, great to have you here, Mark. And talk to us about what's on your mind, why you titled it this as well.
Well, I came to speak to you because there's an unspoken trauma that many of us are going through, and I don't think it's adequately represented by much of the literature and even the videography that's out there. And this is the trauma of those who have to watch a calamity, a catastrophe happening, and be impotent to do anything to stop it. And that's why I've called this Cassandra's curse, is that we can see what's happening, and we feel impotent to do anything to protect those people who are being hurt. And I think I was thinking about a good example of this. This is when Paul Marik testified in front of the Senate. He said something like, "I had to stand by idly and watch my patients die." And he kind of broke up much as I did, because I understood what he meant by that. To stand by idly and watch people die because his hospital forbade him to use treatments that he knew would save these people's lives. And ultimately, of course, he lost his job, and I too lost my job for trying to protect my patients. But I had to watch. I told my daughter and my wife, all my kids, that this product was poison that they were trying to inject into people. And I told my family this, and ultimately my two youngest did not get the vaccine. My oldest, as soon as she turned 16, she said, "You don't know what you're talking about, Dad." My friends all took it, and they're fine. And she went and got it against my advice. I mean, I've been a doctor for 30 years. I've been spending all my time, free time, reading about the dangers of the vaccine, understanding the science. My advice was completely irrelevant for her, and my wife too. And they went and got it. And my brother, my sisters all got it. My mother got it. Within 6 months of my mother getting it, she died. Although it was not attributed to that. My brother's best friend had a stroke. I told him, that a lot of people are getting strokes after getting that. He didn't believe me. He continued to get boosters. It's enough to drive you mad. I mean, I've gone into therapy myself because this is so hard for those of us who are not able to talk about it with the ones who are closest to us, our friends and our relatives, and often we're gaslit. I've seen patients who came in with myocardial damage who told me, their doctor just told them it was anxiety. I had patients who told them that who had a stroke, and they came in, they hobbled in, and they were told that it just happened. These things happen. It had nothing to do with the vaccine. I said, when did you get the vaccine? And he said, well, I had this dose, that dose. And did you never had any problems with clotting before that, or stroke, cardiovascular or cerebrovascular? No, I never had that. Well, I said, I think it's probably the vaccine. And they were like astounded. And it's not just the trauma of seeing your loved ones get hurt or getting exposed to the risk of being hurt, but it's also hearing what the medical profession is doing. That they're derelict in their duty. They're not telling people, you shouldn't get this. Occasionally, just yesterday, I heard somebody say, "My doctor told me not to get it." I was like, wow, that is amazing, because mostly they're recommending people getting it. And then when they do get an injury, they're being gaslit. They're being told it has nothing to do with that. And the psychic effect of that is like, you lose your faith in the medical profession. You're shocked that people who you thought cared about other people could be so lacking in compassion and morality. We all took the Hippocratic Oath, and yet you're going to do this. You're going to gaslight people. You're going to recommend they take an experimental product of unverified efficacy and safety, now verified unsafety, verified inefficacy. And this is like, it's kind of a moral trauma that you go through. Like, I cannot believe people could stoop so low. And it's something that I feel like many of us who've observed this catastrophe unfold are traumatized by it, to see our fellow human beings be so hurtful to one another, to innocent people, to children, to pregnant women. It's like, it's a moral shock, that's all I can call it. And then, in addition to the shock of seeing how other people are being treated, there's the trauma of feeling impotent to stop anybody. You feel like, wake up, and everybody's like, what's wrong with you? I am woke up. You're talking nonsense. It's just, how do you get through to people? It's been that way for 3 years for many of us.
For those that don't know you, can you tell what kind of a doctor you are?
Well, but I've been practicing until I actually lost I was put in a place where I had to give up my license in the state because I advised my patients to wait for better science before submitting to the vaccination. I said that in my opinion, the science had not demonstrated convincingly that the COVID vaccine was safe and effective. And I said, wait for better science. Well, that was enough of a outrage to the officials, whoever it was who saw, and I can only imagine who they were, that they found some doctor out of state. Well, no patient complained about me, but some doctor out of state filed a complaint that I was a danger to the public. I lost they suspended my license, and they wanted me to do a Merrill Nass on me, make me go through all the psychological evaluations, the competency evaluations, all these different things to verify that I wasn't crazy and that I was competent. And so ultimately I ended up giving up my license rather than going through all of that, and got fined a lot of money for this and legal fees. It was quite a setback. And then of course my income went away, and fortunately in this state I'm allowed to practice under the health freedom laws because I do integrative medicine, which includes many alternative treatments like homeopathy and energy work, Bowen work, which is an Australian kind of body work, herbal medicine, nutrition, and functional medicine. So all of these things are authorized under the Rhode Island Health Freedom Law. But my career, I'm not able to prescribe. I'm not able to bill insurance companies. I'm essentially, I'm out of the medical profession, which was pretty hard on me, pretty hard on my relationships with my wife, and I'm no longer able to bring in the kind of income that I used to because people can't really afford to see a doctor, or they don't want to see a doctor when they can go see somebody where their insurance would pay. So I have to ask them to pay out of pocket. And I do fortunately have some who are willing to do that, but not as many as I used to. So, personally, I've suffered a lot of trauma, but I think the trauma that I'm talking about is not my own personal trauma. It's the trauma of watching other people being hurt and being impotent to do anything about it, and knowing that you can protect them. It's like the Jim Jones people, who went off to drink the Kool-Aid, and you're saying, there's poison in there, and they're like, go away. Jim said it's fine. No, that's poison. I tested it. No, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like you have to watch these people marching to their deaths or to injuries, and they won't listen to you. And you've seen, just like Cassandra, the future, what's probably, you don't know for sure, but possibly going to happen to them. And you don't know when, and you don't know what, but you know it's coming. And you can't say anything. It's just
like a long,
shattering.
slow, painful death.
It's very deflating to your own morale, to feel unable to do anything, and to feel that people are doing this to other people deliberately.
So what do you think it is? Why do you think, is it going to take for everyone to have a personal injury or death for them to wake up to this? Why do we have so many people in coma-like states?
Well, I think it's the effect of the media, basically. It's the big lie. This is what Goering popularized in World War II. The big lie. It's so big that it couldn't possibly be a lie, right? Because a lie that big would never be told. Our government wouldn't do that. Why would they do that? It's just too much to swallow that such evil could exist, and that people who we trusted. It's also, I have a background in psychiatry. It's about betrayal of your parents. The government represents your parents. They're the authority figures. They're supposed to take care of you. And people cannot wrap their mind around their parents could actually kill them or hurt them. It's like, no, that's not what parents do. That's not what the government does. They take care of us. And forget about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Forget about Watergate. Forget about the Iraq War and all the many, many betrayals that have already occurred. The bombing of World Trade Center. All these things that where we have a lot of suspicion or actual proof of perfidy from our government are somehow forgotten because that's not what governments do. It's just too big for many people to wrap their mind around. I was able to wrap my mind around it because I've been studying vaccines and the pharmaceutical industry for 25 years or 30 years. I've kind of built my whole business model around avoiding that the vaccine, the traditional medical model. Although I don't think it's all bad. I think there are parts of it that need to be conserved, but it's so toxic in so many ways that it was not a great leap for me to realize, even as early as March of 2020, that there was something fishy going on. So anyway, this is the trauma I wanted to talk about. It's been traumatizing for me personally. I see it not every day, but almost every week in my practice. And, I have to go and talk to my friends and my relatives and pretend as if we're not at war when there's a war going on. A war which is trying to silently exterminate a portion of the population or disable them or render them infertile. And I have to say, what was on Netflix last night? I mean, it's really hard to play that game. It takes a real toll on you to try to pretend that nothing horrible is going on. When you're reading about it, you read the news, I read Health Defense, I read other sources of news that are reporting daily the horrific things that are coming into our world, brought by the globalists, the people who are perpetrating these crimes, who we really only have a sketchy idea of who they are. And nobody is mindful of them. They just go about their business like, hey, thank goodness the COVID is over, and I'm going on vacation here. Where are you going to go on any vacations? And it's just the quotidian becomes what's the word? Perverse almost. Mm-hmm. It's like to engage. It's like T.S. Eliot's poem, love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, about the woman come and go, talking of Michelangelo. They're just talking about this and that while horrors are occurring in the world. It's like he wrote that about World War I, I think. And just the horrors that are occurring, and people are acting as if they're not happening.
Yeah, and the next 6 months, I predict that it's going to get worse. They're going to try again, and we all have family members. By the way, I have a lot of people sitting where you're sitting right now, telling us the same thing. It may be in a different way, but the same thing, and they all have that pain behind their eyes of people they love walking to their death. And so, what advice, because I know you're in pain, I can see that, but people still will look to you to help, because there's a lot of people in pain right now. What do you say to those people in pain, like you're in pain, seeing people they love continuing to take the shot?
Well, personally, I believe that faith is in something is the only thing that can get you through this. And I'm not a religious person in the traditional sense, but I've become a lot more reliant on what I would call my own kind of spiritual beliefs to guide me through this and sustain me. And you have to believe that I think following that path, following a pathway of that you believe in, that you believe is the right path, and is the path of the truth. It's all we have. It's all we have left, and we have to have faith in that. That's going to ultimately, wherever there's a bad, there's a good. Wherever there's a good, there's a bad. Right now, we're in a very dark place in humanity, but the light is out there. We might not be able to see to the end of the tunnel yet. It is out there. We will get to that place eventually. Unfortunately, a lot of harm will have to occur. That may be the price of learning, is suffering, and to become a better person, a better society. Maybe we need to go through some pain, and it's really, really hard. It doesn't make it any less. But I think holding on to your faith in whatever it is you believe in, whether it's traditional religion or some spiritual values that sustain you, this is what I would advise people to do. Have that. Without that, I feel like we're really lost. In fact, I think we're in this place right now because our society has drifted away from spiritual values. And I think we need part of the reclamation of the world, the good world that we all yearn for, is a restoration of those spiritual values, and that maybe an instantiation of them. We have to build them into our society in a way that's actually makes them alive, and not a kind of a hollow enunciation of texts, but it has to be a living and breathing spirituality that means something to every person. If it doesn't mean something to you, it's useless. I don't know how to do that. Traditional religion has attempted to do that by imposing a certain creed and edicts and texts. But I think ultimately it's an individual journey. We all have to find our own pathway to our own beliefs. And some people, I don't think, are able to make that journey. I don't know how we can help those people. But it's a very difficult journey to take, because it requires that you open yourself up to things that are not technologic. They're not coherent with the themes of the modern world. So anyway, one other thing I was thinking of as I was waiting, freezing my butt off in the parking lot, is that
Sorry about that.
What we're going through now, those of us who are being hurt, we're being ridiculed, we're being ostracized. We're going through what the witches in Salem did in the 17th century. We know that this is total BS. What these accusations doesn't make any sense. But we are experiencing the social ostracism, the opprobrium of our relatives and our friends, our colleagues. And we know it's all BS. But we can't, it's like the whole society is hypnotized into believing that this witch thing is real. This anti-vaxxer thing is real. It's nothing real about it. It's just looking for the truth. This is how Galileo must have felt too. It's so ridiculous. I actually, this, you'd think that this is something primitive that people only in the 17th century could do. Here we are in the 21st century, and we're acting, like we're living in the Middle Ages. We're incredibly, we're dumb. We're ignorant, and how that humanity could be this way is kind of a shocking revelation. How do we avoid going back to this another time? How do we stop our own stupidity from carrying us into another disaster? I don't know, but it's the magnitude of the stupidity. I don't know. It really shouldn't be called stupidity, but of the hypnotizability of people is almost incomprehensible to me, and it doesn't bode well for the future. Because much as I'd like to think we're going into light, and I believe we probably are, I don't want to go back into the darkness. I don't want my children or their children to have to go through something like this again. This is truly horrible. And the only thing I can think of is what it must have been like to live in Europe during the Nazi period and watch your neighbors and friends get sent off to concentration camps. Just trauma that's almost beyond words. And I don't know how we can avoid going through this again, but Vera Sharov tried to warn us all about it. People didn't listen. Not listening to the rest of us either. How can we get people to listen? I don't know. I sure wish we could. But I think maybe making videos like this and documenting for the record, maybe that will help. But we humans are awfully refractory to the truth. It's sad to say.
Well, I really appreciate you sitting here and talking about something that's very, very important, and again, so many of us are feeling. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for all you do as well. How can people follow you?
My website is dynamispreventivemedicine.com.
Say it again slowly.
dynamispreventivemedicine.com. And so I don't really do social media yet, although
there's no point. You'll just get taken straight down. It's a complete waste of time.
I'm warming up to it. I'm trying to advertise on Facebook, but I'm very slow out of the starting blocks because I've got my fingers in a lot of different things. I'm active in the anti-5G movement and trying to protect agriculture, and I'm trying to have a practice. I have 3 kids. I think Brian knows that we're all overextended, all of us in this movement.
Yeah, we do have Brian Hooker behind us. Can I turn the camera on you?
Yes.
There he is.
Absolutely.
Signing books. It's pouring with rain outside, so we have to all come in here. Tessa working over there. There she is. And Claire over there. And I don't know where Caroline is. But anyway, thank you for being on this bus, and thank you for all you do and keep doing, and we really truly appreciate you.
Yeah, well, thanks for having this event. This is a great idea, and I wish you great success with it in the future, and safe travels. You're going to see.
I'm sure we'll see you again.
You're going to see a lot of tears falling.
Well, you see, we've only just been on the bus just over a month. Well, not even that really, if you count, because we broke for a bit. Have you seen how many? Have you walked around it? It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
This is a year tour. We're going to have to get another bus.
Yeah.
That's how tragic.
Yeah. It's really more than a bus. We need to have like a football field.
Yes, we do.
Stitch a flag together as big as a football field. Even that wouldn't be big enough.
No.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being